Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Professor Bhadoria. Very good morning. Yeah, please. Yeah, thanks. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. I think I'm audible to everyone. A very good morning to one and all present here.
Yes.
It's given me immense pleasure to warmly welcome you all. It's given me immense pleasure to warmly welcome you all in this inauguration function of AICTE ATAL sponsored
breathing and digesting procedures. All these body functions are controlled by some signals, which is called nerve signals, which is controlled by the central processing unit, that is the brain. So human body continuously perform a number of body functions, and those body functions will be sometimes internal organ related, means organs will be performing some task, or sometimes we will be send something, we will do something, or we will actuate our muscle. So there may be several functions performed by human body, either internal or external. And in both the cases, the nervous system performs a crucial role, that is sending some signals and receiving some signal. So as we know that the nervous system is developed with brain, spinal cord, and other peripheral nerves. Nerves are nothing but one kind of, say, combination of nerve cells, and nerve cells are conducting some signals, and that is conducted as the electrochemical signal or electrical potentials, and those signals are generated in the brain cells or the brain network, and that is the generation in the signal. And then when that signal is required to be transferred from one part to other part, the nerves are used, which are called the conduction system for the brain signals. And there are several neurons connected in several numbers. The nerve cells will sometimes send signals to the next one or receive signal from the other one. So there will be the junction of the cells, which is called a synapse. So those are the very details in biology. So we have to just think about that. That signal is being generated somewhere, and it is required to be transferred from one place to other place. And that's why we must need some electrical conductors so that signals can be transferred. And that type of conductors are performed or are developed with the neurons. And this is the constructional view of a neuron that we have already studied in 10+2. And the nervous system is having several components, that is central nervous systems or peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system will be abbreviated as CNS, and peripheral nervous system will be abbreviated as PNS. And central nervous system will contain the brain, and peripheral nervous systems will be developed with such several nerves, which will be connected to the other body tissues to perform some peripheral works. And each nerve or each and for actuating muscles also, whenever we will need to generate some, we need to send the signal through a particular path. Medical science, but region of the nerve will be assigned to the actuation or sensing. And here we can see that starting from the brain, what is the structure of peripheral nervous system, and what is the relation between the peripheral nervous system and the central nervous system. An example is there, the brain is generating some signal, and that is coming to the, and which is connected to the muscle, and automatically muscle is actuating so that we can perform some work. Here also the signal is generated here, and it is coming to the spinal cord, and from the spinal cord it is again going to the. Similarly, if we get some signal here or receive some signal here, that will come to the spinal cord, and from the spinal cord it will reach to the brain. So the brain will decide whether it is pleasing or it is painful, whether it is pleasant or it is painful. So accordingly it will decide what to do, and it will send the signal. Again it will come back to the region of the sensing, or a suitable region by which we can get some particular order of action. So now I will come to the brain. So overall nervous system we have reviewed in very brief. Definitely, I'm not a medical doctor, so I'll not be expert like that, those experts. But we, as an engineer, we have to just know those parts. So I just explain and try to make it visible with some animations. So now our brain parts will have several lobes, frontal lobes, temporal lobes, and other parts will be there. Each part will be performing some particular work. So why I'm explaining all this? Because before understanding the, say, or developing the artificial intelligence, you need to know that there are two words that is called artificial and intelligence. What is intelligence? Intelligence can be found in any animal, and which is in greater amount in human, because we have a developed brain, matured brain. As a human being, several number of nerve cells are arranged in a particular network, and our brain is developed. So we have a power of thinking. So whenever we have a power of analyzing something, after receiving something, after seeing something, or after getting the response from the atmosphere or the outside, if you are able to process it, we can realize it, and accordingly we have to perform to handle or tackle that signal or tackle that atmosphere. It is called intelligence. Means we will be receiving something, we will analyze something, and then we will act accordingly. So we have a thinking power. That's why we are intelligent. Even several animals are also intelligent up to certain amount due to their existence of the brain. And whenever the artificial intelligence comes that we need to think about the intelligence, but not in real case. And it is related to the computation. So whenever the computer was invented, so computer was invented to reduce some task burden, which was possible by human, but it was not possible to perform repetitively. So it was a huge task. So it was very tiring for human beings. So we found it can be performed by some machines. So whenever the calculation kind of basic task were required to be performed, we tried to develop computer. And after that, we realized computer can be utilized to perform a complex task also. So then a lot of task and lot of work can be performed nowadays with the help of computer. And after that, utilizing the power of computer, we thought that machines can be trained with some analyzing power. If we give some information again and again, then machine can learn something from the trend of data or from the pattern of data. And after that, it will be able to keep that trend in its chip, like what we do to keep the memory or keep some incident stored inside our memory of the brain. So the machine was also able to keep something, some information in its memory chip. And with that information stored inside its chip, whenever the similar kind of data is fed to the computer is found to be able to conduct the same analysis with the previous experience. That means we are giving the training to the computer, just like a brain, just like what we do for a very young kid whenever he or she is learning something. So he or she generally watch several times or listen several times. After that, he or she will understand that this is the actual task we have to do. So he tries to imitate. Like that, one computer system also can do that up to a certain extent, definitely. And utilizing that power, we implemented some mathematical algorithm to develop brain, as it is not the biological brain, so it is called as artificial intelligence. And those are developed with computer programs which are mimicking the network of neurons and which are able to do some complex task what we do in our real life. So it is a bridge between the human thinking power and the computational power. So we are trying to impose some human brain thinking capability in a machine, that is a computer. And that computer or that thinking power or that analytical power can be implemented in a particular machines or robotic system even, so that the robot can work as per the human thinking. So some humanoid robots also can be performed or can be developed utilizing the AI or controlled by any algorithm. And that robot can read something, store some data, and it can perform later on. So that type of thinking and that type of works can be performed utilizing the power of artificial intelligence. So this is one kind of a robot which is trying to read something. That means whatever we are seeing in the eyes, it may not be seeing that. It will be some scanning devices will be there, camera will be there. So that kind of thing can be done. So I just collected that picture from internet to give an idea that what artificial intelligence can do. So whenever it will access some data from here, after scanning, it can analyze it, and accordingly it can. There may be several language processing algorithms also. After that, it can be made understandable, or it can be made understood that what he or what it read in the. And definitely artificial intelligence could be following the brain networks, not fully till the portion what it is feasible or implementable. And from those concept of artificial intelligence, several parts of the artificial intelligence came, like machine learning and deep learning. Definitely those topics, I guess, will be discussed by eminent researchers, scientists and professors who will be giving talk on this, and definitely will be very eagerly waiting for those talks. So this slide shows the revolution of this technique, starting from 1950s. We can see that we are going towards the deep learning, and even we are moving towards, and we can get several other techniques in the field of AI. It is trying to develop the network of the brain cells, and after that it is trying to train that. So first of all, the algorithm will be written or developed, and then with the help of several data, that data will be fed. So the collection of data, and after that processing the data and train the model, whatever model will be developed. After giving a lot of data, the training process will be performed, and due to this training, the computer will have some artificial intelligence in it, and it will be able to do some work in the next step. And before claiming that system is ready for performing some work, we can test a few things with the other data sets. After realizing the performance, after studying the performance of the AI system, we can also improve the algorithm so that we can get more efficiency. So there are the interrelation between the artificial intelligence. So definitely the machine learning and deep learning came from the artificial intelligence. And when it came, initially those machine learning and deep were not so developed. So as we are moving towards the path of artificial intelligence, through the path of artificial intelligence and moving towards say machine learning and deep learning, and again definitely we will get some other techniques in future, but right now we can apply those techniques MLLDL, and I will explain how MLLDL can be applied for the medical imaging in the next part. So before going to the application of the machine learning and deep learning and other neural networks in the EIT, I will explain how EIT works. So in EIT, the body tissue anatomy or physiology can be visualized. So in our body, as we already understood, several organs are there. Body is very complex in structure, and also it is performing a lot of. So these slides are representing some statistics which are not required to be remembered, because all this data are available in the internet or books. I have just represent the idea that how body is complex and how all the organs are important. Now, whenever some diseases are found in particular subject, or any abnormal health conditions are found or observed, in the ancient age also we are looking for some experts, and those experts had some more capability to understand, realize, and analyze the problems. So those are called doctors. And in ancient age, in earlier time, when the medical science was not so developed, when the engineering and technology were not there, that time doctors were diagnosing after studying after getting the information from visual observation, touch sensing, or hearing. And those things were not very accurate, not sufficient even. And gradually we found our science developed, and then engineering and technology came. And even the multidisciplinary fields like biomedical engineering is developed. In biomedical engineering, biology, medicine, and engineering are involved. Major three disciplines, though there are several other disciplines are also contributing, like biotechnology, microbiology, and all. So whenever one biomedical engineer or scientist will work, they will develop some technology, and that technology will be taken by the industries, and instruments will be developed which will be utilized in hospitals, and those instruments will be called as biomedical instruments, and those instruments will be utilized by the doctors, medical practitioners, and clinicians. So a lot of instruments could be developed for getting the signals from the body, starting from the thermometer, blood pressure, and ECG machines, which may be invasive, many invasive, non-invasive, non-contact. So for say this kind of measurement of say blood pressure or any other parameter regarding the blood, some catheter is inserted inside the body, so it will be invasive. And in some cases, it will be inserted to the body cavity, not penetrating the tissue or blood. So this is called minimally invasive, and other things where nothing is inserted in the body or body cavity, only putting some sensors on the surface of the body, so that is called non-invasive. And sometimes even nothing is put inside or outside the body also. Signals will be recorded wirelessly or without any contact, so that is called non-contact. So these are all signal measurement techniques where we will get some values like say 100 degree Fahrenheit temperature, or 80 by 120 mmHg blood pressure, or any ECG signals as a voltage amplitude. So those are all giving some values of the signal, which can be plotted in a graph also. But another kind of diagnostic tool is there in medical imaging, where we can get the picture of the body interiors, like medical imaging. We can do that type of imaging techniques utilizing some energies, or utilizing any signal, applying any signal to the body, just like X-ray or anything else. And imaging also may be invasive, non-invasive, or minimally invasive. So after the research, after the a huge hard work in the field of biomedical engineering, we found several instruments: blood pressure monitor, ECG machine, EEG machine, and imaging systems. And imaging systems are also plenty, like planar radiography, X-ray, CT, MRI, PET, and all. So whenever some medical imaging is performed, we will get the image of the body interiors or image of the anatomy or physiology. So whenever we will get some images, the images will be sent to the doctors, and doctors will analyze those images with the help of their experience or expertise. Sometimes the images are also analyzed by some computational program with the help of artificial intelligence. So whenever a lot of images are required to be analyzed, then if the doctors or sufficient number of doctors or clinicians to analyze those images are not sufficient, then the analysis or power of analysis can be imposed in some mathematical algorithm applying, say, ML or DL, and we can give some lot of data to the computer to train the system, and after training we can give some new images, and where the images will be taken as the input, the machine, an image will be analyzed. First of all, it will be digitized, and then it will be analyzed and understood by the algorithm, and then it will decide something and it will give some results, and that results could be taken as the results systems, and we can study that, we can perform that task several times, and you can see what kind of efficiency is coming, whether it is matching with the analysis of the doctors or not. So if we find that it is matching with the similar analysis, then we can tell that artificial intelligence system can be utilized for analyzing the image studies. Now, when the X-ray was invented by William Röntgen, and he also didn't know what he has invented, and that's why he has put the name of the ray, electromagnetic radiation, as X-ray, because X is always put as, sometimes X is generally put as the unknown variable to represent the unknown variable in mathematics. So as a physicist, he found that he has invented something, but he didn't know what he has invented, and that's why he has put the name of the ray as X-ray, and till date it is known as the X-ray only. Now this X-ray was found as an electromagnetic radiation in his experiments in his physics laboratory, and then he realized that that has a power to visualize the body interiors, especially the hard matters in the tissue in the body, that is a bone. So he put his wife's hand in front of the X-ray machine, and he got the reflection as an X-ray image, and that is called the first X-ray image or first medical X-ray in the world, and where we can see that there are wedding rings picture here in the black spot. So this type of imaging has been performed after that, and is considered as a very wide applications in several fields, not only in medical, there are several other fields where we can utilize that X-ray imaging. So what is the X-ray planar radiography? It is kind of the light shedding phenomena utilizing some source of light. Here we can consider that X-ray is the source of light, and if we put a ball here, we can get the shadow in the wall. Similar thing is conducted here. So X-ray is developed. X-ray is produced here by the X-ray tube, and that X-ray tube is utilizing some electrical energy and generating the X-ray, and it is illuminating that X-ray, sending the X-ray to a particular target. Here it is shown that X-ray is sent throughout the body, but in most of the cases it is projected in a particular region where the imaging is to be done, and then at the back side of the X-ray, there will be a phase where the attenuated X-ray will be received, and we can get a particular image of the body. But whenever there will be a thick bone, just like the skull, then if we do the same procedure, we will not be able to see the interior of the body. So since then, we are looking for some other imaging technique that is called tomography, and where the body interiors will be visible as a cross-sectional image of the body. Suppose we want to get the image of a particular person who has some abnormal tissue growth inside the brain, like tumor, and if the doctor wants to see that, the patient must go through some imaging. But if we go for planar radiography, the sufficient information will not be possible to be gathered, and it will not be visible in the image. But if we do the computed tomography, it is possible to see the cross-section of the tumor. So what is done? The tomographic imaging is performed to get the cross-sectional image of the body. So tomographic, the word means, tomo means the cross-section, and the imaging of a body cross-section. It is non-invasive, means we are not inserting anything in the body, and also we are not destroying any body parts or anything. So it was invented by Godfrey Hounsfield and Alan Cormack, and they developed their first CT machine. And after that, it was improved and developed so that we have got today's modern CT scanner. And that CT scanner is one of the great invention in medical physics or in medical science. So after that, they got the Nobel Prize in the field of physiology and medicine for their great invention. And this is the cross section. This is the schematic of the CT experiment. And in any CT machine, there will be a circular structure with a particular hole, and which is called the gantry. That circular structure is known as the gantry, and that gantry will have several X-ray detectors which will receive the attenuated X-ray after the application of X-ray by a rotating X-ray tube. So there will be a rotating X-ray tube which will rotate in 360-degree angle, and whenever the X-ray will be passing through the body, the X-ray will be attenuated, and that attenuated X-ray will be received by the receivers or the X-ray detectors at the opposite side, and the X-ray beam or X-ray source will rotate. So if that animation is showing the rotational X-ray source, then you can understand that the yellow boxes are the X-ray detectors, and this is the object, and X-ray is passing through that object, and all the detectors are measuring the attenuated X-ray. So already the rotating X-ray beam is passed to the object to be imaged, and attenuated X-ray beams are received by the detectors at the different projection angles, and it will be sent to the PC. That is, the measured data is nothing but the attenuated X-ray that will be sent to the PC, and it will be analyzed in the PC utilizing some computer program called image reconstruction algorithm. So we can see that the X-ray source is rotating, patient is lying inside the gantry, and there will be the detectors here, and all detectors will be housed in its peripheral structure in the circular path, and we will get several position of the X-ray beam. Each position is called the projection. So you can say that there will be the X-ray path, or we will be getting several number of data sets. And if the X-ray is denoted by this red arrow, and whenever X-ray is passing through an object, the attenuation will depend on the material, whatever is there, because it is dependent on the absorption property of the material. And if the material composition changes, that the path, if the material is homogeneous also, if the length of the path is going for some certain type of energy, that energy also will be absorbed with different quantity. And see that for different path, the X-ray attenuation may be different. So after getting the complete scan, whenever the data will be analyzed and we can get that type of image, whatever is shown here, and in this portion, that is the abdominal CT, we can visualize several organ cross sections. That is the entire cross section of the abdomen is visible here, and with a very good resolution. And if some tumors are formed in anywhere, we can get the information, we can get the anatomical position of that. And even after imaging at different slices or different cross sections, we can gather those slices so that we can get the 3D image or 3D view of the subject. This is the cross section. This is the interior of the CT machine. So CT images of abdomen, chest, and brain. Okay, so whenever the machine was invented, it was really a great invention. Even today also it is one of the greatest invention in the medical field as a medical imaging device. But as it is using the X-ray, so we cannot perform the test for a long time. And also there should be a particular dose of X-ray so that it will be under the safe condition or the medical safety is performed. We have to think about that. And also one more drawback is that it is not a portable technique. So X-ray machine, first of all, it is costly machine and it is not movable. It is generally installed in a particular room, and all the patients are required to be visiting there so that they can go through the test. Because the machine is never, if it is in normal condition, until unless it is a portable X-ray machine, because portable X-ray machine development is not so easy. So machine is not possible to be taken to the patient's place. And there are several other imaging techniques like MRI, where this machine is utilizing a huge magnetic field to get the body interiors picture, and that magnetic field is interacting with the body tissue and collecting the tissue parameters. And that imaging device is also huge in volume, and it is also installed in a particular room. There are several technicians and doctors are required to perform a test, and the MRI has certain limitations. If the patient has the metal implants inside the body, those imaging techniques cannot be performed. No metal parts are allowed inside that machine room. Whatever is there inside the machine, that is its constructional say parts. Apart from that, no other machine parts will be there. No other metal parts will be there inside the body of the patient. Otherwise, it will be damaged. Also, tissue may be damaged due to huge attraction or repulsion force created between those things. That is. So those things will be very, very dangerous for the patients or the attenders. Other medical imaging techniques like nuclear medicine, where some radioisotopes are injected. Those radioisotopes are say decaying very fast, and within 24 hours or couple of days it will be fully decayed and abolished from the body. And those medicines are injected inside the body, and then the gamma rays are collected, and like that we can get some body tissue information, and metabolism activities can be visualized utilizing the gamma camera. When gamma camera is rotated in a 360-degree space, then we get the single photon emission computed tomography SPECT. Those are very suitable or required for detecting some cancers. So positron emission tomography, which is abbreviated as PET, and other techniques like angiography, fluoroscopy, and the mammography. Mammography is one kind of planar radiography which is utilized to detect the breast cancer. So that's why it is known. And also ultrasound based medical imaging is also there, where the piezoelectric transducer are developed, and those are excited by high frequency pulses, electric pulses, so that the pulses are utilized by this transducer to generate some ultrasound machines, and that ultrasound generation of ultrasound, and that ultrasound will travel to the tissue and it will be reflected back, and that reflected ultrasound will be again received by the transducers, and that reflected ultrasound will be utilized to visualize the body interiors. So there is a comparison of medical images like X-ray radiography, CT scanning, MRI, and PET scanning in each row. Those are shown here. Other imaging devices like say microscope or say scanning electron microscopies, those are related to some experiments, because ACM is also performed to detect some biological samples nowadays. So it can be utilized for medical purpose also. Now I will come to the EIT. So I think we have understood what is medical imaging and how the tomography can be conducted to detect the body tissue and anatomy, to detect any tumor. Anatomy of the tumor is visualized in a cross-sectional image of the body. Now in electrical tomography, electrical impedance tomography, we found three words, that is electrical impedance and tomography. Now tomography we understood means it is an imaging technique of a body cross section, so that will be like CT, and it is electrical impedance, so it will be definitely related to the electricity and the tissue property like impedance. So tissue will have impedance, so we may have some question in our mind. Yes, our tissue will have some impedance, and that's why we will be able to get the information of the body tissue in terms of electrical impedance of the biological object like tissues. So that's why this is called electrical impedance tomography. It's a CT technique which will measure electrical impedance, and it will give us the body anatomy as a picture, as a tomographic image. So the interaction of electricity and the body tissue was studied long back in experiments of Luigi Galvani when he was experimenting with the frogs and the electrical conductor. He noticed that twitching of twitching of the muscle, and that was the first observation of the interaction of body tissue and the electricity. And after that, William Eindhoven was working on the ECG machine. He realized that heart is pumping due to the generation of electrical signal, which is called electrocardiograms, and that electrical signal that time was not visible, not possible to be acquiring. So that time he was trying to develop his machine. This is the first ECG machine where he was using 3 electrodes, and those electrodes were not looking like the ECG electrodes which are used in our modern life nowadays. He was working with this machine, and he thought that there will be some electrical signal available on the body which can be acquired from the body surface after connecting some electrical conductors or electrical sensors. So he developed 3 tanks filled with saline water, and he put his 2 hands inside it and 1 leg, and those tanks filled with the saline solution was the first ECG electrodes we can assume. So these are the first ECG electrode or ECG sensors. So now, as we know, DC electricity conducts in a particular direction, and it may change its amplitude as a say pulsatile DC or ripple DC, but it will not change its polarity. But in case of alternating signal, the amplitude as the polarity will be changing with respect to time. So whenever some material will have some resistance, inductance or capacitance, and if we excite that system with some alternating current, then the material property which will try to oppose the current conduction through it, it will be known as impedance. So we have to excite that material with the help of some alternating signal. Say we are injecting or applying some current, and whenever we will send some current to the body, the conduction will be there, and if the current conduction, some signal will be generated, and that signal will be known as the developed signal. And if we are able to measure the signal, and if we know the amplitude of the signal, applied signal, we can get the impedance of that object. Now if we have some unknown object, and if we change the frequency of the signal, also we will get the different amplitude of the signal which will be developed. So applied signal is red color sine wave as shown in the picture. Sorry. And the developed signal will be blue signal, which will be considered as a developed potential. So applied current and developed potential. Now if we change the signal frequency, also impedance will be changing, because impedance of the any material, the impedance of any material depends on the frequency, depends on the composition. Now if the composition is fixed, if the material is fixed, and if we change the frequency, then the amount of the voltage will be changed. Now if we measure the impedance at each frequency, we will get the Nyquist plot, and that Nyquist plot is nothing but the plot of Nyquist plot, the plot of the real part and the imaginary part, and that imaginary part will be plotted in the y-axis and real part will be plotted along the x-axis, and you will get several circular path or similar. And analyzing that Nyquist plot, we will be able to get some electrical property of the tissue, and we can get some circuit model. Now those type of parameters can be obtained from the curves, and these curves are known as Nyquist plot. And now how the tissue is creating or is developing some impedance in response to alternating current excitation. Definitely tissue should have either inductive or capacitive components, otherwise the tissue will have only resistance, impedance will not be there. Yes, so our body tissue is developed with cells, and each cells are arranged in a 3D structure to develop the tissues. Now if we have a tissue structure across 2 electrodes, and if 2 electrodes are used for injecting current and measurement of the voltage, we can get a particular amount of Z. As Z is there, definitely there will be some capacitive component or inductive component. According to the Maxwell, for low frequency, inductive effect of the body tissue will not be there. But if we inject some electrical current with some frequency, low frequency, low amplitude signal, then we can get some value of that oppositional property of the tissue, and which will be nothing but one capacitive capacitive reactance will be there, and it will be the combination of some real part and imaginary part. So there will be some impedance, and that impedance is coming from the cell membrane as well as cell components. Our cell is developed with cytoplasm, nucleus, and other cellular organelles enclosed by cell membrane. If we cut the cell membrane and if we go to the microscopic view, we will see that there are protein, lipid, protein bilayer, and the protein is conducting in nature and lipid is insulating in nature. So there are 2 conducting layers which are sandwiching some insulating layer inside. So definitely there will be one capacitive nature. Capacitive property will come from the cell membrane, and that cell capacitance is known as CCM, that is cell capacitance. So cell membrane capacitance, and there will be other 2 major resistance values in a isolated cell structure, which is called resistance created by the intracellular fluid and resistance created by the extracellular fluid. Intracellular fluid is the fluid which is enclosed inside the membrane, and the cells are suspended in the extracellular fluid in a 3-dimensional array to develop the tissue. So definitely there will be another conducting medium, that is called extracellular fluid, denoted by this pink color structure. Now, whenever we will put some electrodes here, the current will be divided in 2 parts. One will be through the extracellular fluid, other one through the cell membrane, depending on the tissue type as well depending on the cell applied signal frequency. So there will be two paths connected in parallel, Z1 and Z2. Now if we analyze further, we will see that capacitance will come in the cell membrane. Intercellular fluid will be ionic medium, so there will be resistance, RICF. Extracellular medium is also ionic medium, so there will be ECF, RECF. And if we send the current may be divided into paths, so they may be connected in parallel paths, because current is divided in parallel combinations. So that will be the some approximate model of the isolated cell. Though there are several other modelings are also there, and if we go for plant cell also, their modeling will be changed. This is for the animal cell modeling. Now, what will happen if we have a current excitation at low frequency? If the frequency is low, 1 by omega c will be huge in amount. So definitely there will be there will be some other structures, means other frequencies by which the current will be passing through the tissues, that is the cells. So if we increase the frequency will be, if we increase the frequency will be is suitable for sending the current, and then EIT will be injected by these conductors. So measured by the current injection and voltage measurement, and EIT will be performed like this. So if there are the circular path, there will be several electrodes, and there will be 16 or 32 data will be collected by this current injection, and data will be sent to the PC. So current path will be distributed in the path, and there will be several electrodes, and that electrodes will be for voltage measurement, and red electrodes are the current injection. And whenever some object will be there, current paths will be distorted, and depending on the distortion, there will be several voltages. And whenever the distortion will be there, voltage profile will be changed. And comparing the initial path, we can get the information at the boundary. So X-ray imaging, this is the current imaging. So it will be non-invasive, radiation free, so X-ray will not be used, and it will be utilized for several applications like medical imaging, process tomography, and microbiology and biotechnology. Even for the civil also it is possible to utilize. So I'll quickly go through that for different imaging techniques with EIT. So there will be current injection, and there will be the voltage scanning. So we will be changing the so there will be the ton of data, and this is the algorithm where measurement data will be compared to the computed data, and image reconstruction will be there with the help of image reconstruction algorithm. And instrumentation will have 3 parts: constant current injector, signal conditioner, and data acquisition system. And there will be some multiplexer modules so that we can switch, and these are the So there will be regulated power supply, VCO and VCCS, and marks will be there. And those instruments can be developed in the lab, either PCB or board. Learning can develop that. And this is the instrument what can be developed as a basic instrument. And these are the experimental setup. And I will skip these slides because this is all showing the experiments. So I will come to the imaging part due to the lack of time. So these are all instrumentation, and this is the imaging where we can develop the model and we can get the images. So tumors may be there, like say bone or fat, and we can get the images. And several electrodes can be developed, either for needle electrode or silver ink electrode or stationary electrodes. There will be stainless steel electrodes and brass electrodes also. So several other electrodes. This is the imaging device which is available in the commercial device, and in the other medical imaging also is possible, where the breast imaging is possible and brain imaging also possible. In microbiology, cell imaging also possible. So these are the commercial devices. And in the AI, I will tell that the medical imaging is also possible to be analyzed by AI. And several publication is or work is developed, work is done in artificial intelligence in radiology, or even MRI PET or SPECT images can be possible to be analyzed using the AI. ML is utilized for in AI is also there, machine learning based reconstruction and deep learning based. The solution of the electrical impedance tomography governing equation is also possible. Deep learning based AIT imaging again, and deep neural network based AIT solution is also possible. And in conclusion, I will tell that CT scanning is very much required for medical imaging, and AIT is fast and low cost portable, and AIT has a lot of potential for medical imaging. ML, machine learning and deep learning can be possible to develop the AIT reconstruction algorithm like inverse solving devices, and number of research opportunities are there to improve the system, making the commercial AI-based AIT. So I thank all the delegates and participants. I will be very happy if you have any questions for my presentation. Thank you very much. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any questions?
Is anyone having any questions you need to ask?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So my contacts are there. So if anybody wants to ask any question later also, I will be happy to answer. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, I will send. I will send. I will send. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, can I log out? Thank you.
Thank you.